There's a world out there, ladies and gentlemen, that you are just waiting to discover. We have the key, and we have unlocked it. We are the Undisputed Nerds. I am the Gentlemanly Gamer, and that is the Zane Tide Show. Do an introduction, Zane.
Living on a prayer. How are you?
We're halfway there.
We are halfway there with James Gunn.
There you go. Oh, look at that. He's tied it into the episode already. Hello, everybody. Welcome again, where we take a look at where we take a look at comic book movie news, TV shows, games, all kinds of random stuff when it comes to the land of nerd. Zane, how are you doing this week? Are you doing okay? How are you feeling?
I'm good. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. It feels like this week's flown by.
You know what? I feel the same way. It's gone really quickly this week.
I can't believe it's Feb already.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
Once I've hit the closer towards 40 than I am 35, it's now slowly deteriorating. Not slowly deteriorating, sorry, quickly deteriorating, even faster than I was expecting.
But hey, the good news is Pancake Day is almost here.
Yes. So for those of our listeners who are not based in the UK, Shrove Tuesday is in February. Look it up, Shrove Tuesday. It is what we commonly refer to over here as Pancake Day. Is it Pancake Tuesday? It's specifically Pancake Tuesday, isn't it?
It's a Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. So but basically, it's interesting because obviously, being involved with an American, the definition of pancakes is quite different over there as it is to over here. So for those of the because I don't know, it might just be my mum. But my mum always used to make basically crepes on Pancake Day, really thin pancakes that you fold over, and you can you put traditionally sugar and lemon. That's traditional, I think. In the but is that the kind of pancakes you had, Zane?
Yeah.
No, you're a freak, Gent. What are you talking about?
No. I completely agree with you. I think the only difference is, later in life, my mum started to introduce self-raising flour, so then you get these thick bad boys.
That's American style pancakes. That is pure blood American pancakes. Yeah, that's what after meeting my partner and seeing their way of life.
There's no turning back.
There's no turning back. It's like you can't go into a breakfast bar in America and have a thick stack of waffles. Sorry, pancakes, specifically pancakes. Poured with maple syrup and butter on top, and then just go back to regular old crepes.
What toppings do you normally go for on Pancake Day?
On Pancake Day? Are we talking about English traditional or
it's the Tuesday.
American twang. If it's American twang, I normally do. I don't necessarily have. I have a little bit of syrup on top, but then I have blueberry muffins. Blueberry muffins. God, what am I saying? Blueberry pancakes.
Oh,
blueberry pancakes. I'm sorry, it's the end of the week, guys. It's been a quick and stressfully busy week. Blueberry pancakes. That's normally what I have. Because it's just a taste sensation. As far as the old school crepe, it's I got to go sugar and lemon. It's the traditional for me. I do like it. I know it's very boring.
Else,
I know.
Those two.
No, just those two. Try it.
Wow.
It's enchanting.
I don't know if I could. I've had whipped cream and banana. What? It's just
I bet you have. I bet you have.
Folded.
Yeah, right.
Folded in the crepe.
Just normal men. Just innocent men.
It's a holiday.
Yeah, sorry. Channel hacker T-Dog there. My apologies. Just normal men. Yes, good. Good. Anyway, this is not the baking show. This is Undisputed Nerds. Some other news to update you on. Nerdy news. I talked about it with you a little bit beforehand. I started playing Gotham Knights this week on stream. That was fun. You're not a fan. We know that now.
Yeah, it was just some of the traversals. The grappling hook feels really janky. Especially after Arkham Knight and stuff. It's
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
feels
And
really good.
as a man who owns his own personal grappling hook and traverses the streets at night, like some kind of caped vigilante, you know exactly what it's like when it comes to grappling.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a nice birthday gift.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't out your secret identity, Zane.
I nearly did then. I had to retain.
I know, I could tell. I could tell.
Refrain. Ah.
Refrain.
Mm.
Right. There you go. There you go.
That's a new word.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zane Taicho is the Night Badger. I've outed him on stream. Right, what are we talking about this week, Zane? We got a weird one this week.
Yeah, this week there was some major news from DC Studios, brand new. And I thought it'd be cool if we watch James Gunn's announcement and talk about some of the things that he mentions.
Nice. Yeah, DC Studios so brand new, they're reusing projects that they've already announced. So anyway, but obviously before we get into the main gist of the show, I think we owe a bit of love to our weekly sponsor, don't you, Zane?
Oh yeah, Surfshark VPN.
Go for it, Surfshark. Zane, did you know that I love to surf?
No, I didn't.
I know, it's amazing. You'd never believe it looking at me, but I am an avid surfer. Not of the sea, though. Oh, no. I am a surfer of the World Wide Web, my friend. And let me tell you something. When I go surfing, I definitely need some protection. Not the usual kind of wetsuit, though. I need some VPN. Do you know what VPN means, Zane?
I don't. What's a VPN?
Well, it would be a virtual private network, and let me tell you, we here at Undisputed Nerds are being sponsored this week, and a big thank you to the episode sponsor, Surfshark VPN. You can get Surfshark VPN 83% off and 3 months free, Zane, if you go to surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds and enter in the promo code Undisputed Nerds. Surfshark VPN lets you trick your device into thinking it's in another country, which opens up a whole world of content library, Zane. So think about it this way. If you're in the UK, you can watch US Netflix, which has a far bigger selection of movies. You can get all of your Batfleck content that I know you love, Zane. I know you're looking for. If you're outside of the UK as well, you can watch amazing apps like BBC iPlayer. And if you're in the US, you can finally get access back to the old WWE network with its far superior functionality. We've been using, me and Zane have been using Surfshark here at Undisputed Nerds for a while. It is our official VPN, and it doesn't just let us gain access to all the comic book movies, but it also secures our networks by encrypting internet traffic, keeping our location and download history private, thankfully, so that people can't see me purchasing wetsuits. My favorite feature on the Surfshark, it knows when my phone leaves a trusted connection, like my home or work internet, and it immediately turns on to prevent interference. It's like having, I don't know, Batfleck's Justice League for your phone, Zane.
I know exactly what you mean.
And I know you've got a lot of Batfleck on your phone right now. So sign up to Surfshark today by using our link in the video description below, surfshark.deals/Undisputed Nerds, where you'll get, again, 83% off and your first 3 months free if you use the code Undisputed Nerds. We really appreciate if you just at least check them out, as they're a great company and we love working with them. Support Undisputed Nerds and support your internet privacy with Surfshark. Lovely. Go and buy your VPNs, ladies and gentlemen. They're a fabulous company. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about DC Studios this week, but obviously it wouldn't be this show if we didn't have our weekly segment. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Zane.
Yeah.
I'm running a bit thin on the ground. We've now done Batman 360 No Scope so long, I am legitimately running out of Batman kills. I can't believe it. So Pattinson needs to go on a murder spree because I need some new material. However, I've not let you down this week, Zane. I've still got some, don't worry. Batman's still killing people. For those people who are listening to the first time, I'm so sorry. This is where we take a look at every week. We take a listen to an audio clip of Batman murdering somebody in a movie, because we all know Batman loves a bit of murder in the movies, whereas in the comic books he never murders anyone. So what we do is we play an audio clip, and then Zany Baby has to tell me the year, the film, and who he's murdering. So, Zane, are you ready?
I'm as ready as can be.
All right. Is he ready?
Yeah. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. We got a thumbs up.
Is he? Can he reach the piano? Obviously, I know you've got him manacled down there. Can he reach the piano? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Good. He's in. Okay, Danny. Go on. Do a bit of Batman, Danny. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, Danny, get down. Stop. Every week, guys. Every week he does the same thing, and he tries to play the whole theme, and we tell him we don't have enough money to feed him if he plays the whole theme. Back in your room.
Sorry, yes, guys. I know you worked on The Wanted. No one's seen it.
Arrogance to this man, honestly. Jeez, honestly. Sam Raimi didn't want you.
Have you seen Wanted?
The James McAvoy Wanted?
Yeah.
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't shut up about it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's because you got to brush up against Morgan Freeman, isn't it?
Who wouldn't want to?
Well, that's true. All I remember is there was a song in that by 9 Inch Nails, which every day is exactly the same.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Wasn't even one of Danny's. Wasn't even one of your songs. So yeah, that's all I remember about that film. Anyway, yes. So Zane, I've pre-prepared a clip for you, an audio clip. Are you ready? Are you ready to have your ears tantalized by the Batman murders?
Yes, I am. Are we ready? Thumbs up.
Hit us with it.
Let's do it.
There you go, Zane. It's a tricky one this week. I've given you a tricky one.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's the year, the Batman movie, and who he's killing.
So the movie is definitely Batman Begins.
It is Batman Begins. Well done, Zane. What was the year that it was released?
Oh, I want to say 2006.
Oh, you were so close. It was 2005.
Oh.
Who's he killing?
He is facing the fake Ra's al Ghul as everything is burning. This is the scene where he's told he needs to kill the pig farmer who stole, and he refuses. And then everyone just starts attacking each other, and everything's on fire because of fireworks.
Zane, you are pretty much correct. Yes, this is the scene in Batman Begins where Batman famously claims he is no executioner and will not kill. He then proceeds to launch a live poker into a box of fireworks, blowing up the entire facility and killing almost all of the members of the League of Shadows, including the fake Ra's al Ghul. Ding, 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 Zane. You have done it.
Yes.
Congratulations, my friend. Well done. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I wish we had a little Batman thumbs up that I could give you.
Do you know what the giveaway was? It's the throaty sort of growls and noises from the fake Ra's al Ghul. He's like,
Ken Watanabe going crazy, basically. It's either that or it's Penguin, isn't it? We're not sure which. But there you go. So yeah, I do still have a few Batman murders left. They range from being slightly hard to quite easy now. I think we've gone through we've gone through all the major difficult ones, like when he
Mm.
pancakes people into ceilings, or when he drops a couple of bombs and blows up an entire chemical factory, murdering hundreds. Those ones have been done. So yeah, we're running a bit thin on the ground, but I do still have. I can think of at least 3 off the top of my head right now that we can do. 2 of them are very obvious. One of them is quite hard. One of them is going to be tricky for you. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yes, there will be more. There will be more Batman 360 No Scope. And like I said, when I did the Superman one, I might expand it out and start doing generic superhero murders. Because at least then I can eke out a couple of Superman neck snaps whilst I'm at it. So that's good. Anyway, let's talk about our main event this week, then, my friend. So this was one. This was your brainchild. We're going to talk about Mr. Jimmy Gunn and his revelations of the DC universe coming up. So, guys, what we're going to do this week is we're looking at the recent announcement that James Gunn made about the revelations of what is coming up as far as DC is concerned. So, for those of you who have been living under a rock for the last year, James Gunn has been announced as the co-CEO of DC Studios. He and another bloke who I can never remember the name of because he doesn't really matter.
Peter.
Let's face it. Peter, that's it. Pete. They've been tasked with aligning everything in the DC universe and making it coherent. Basically, they're the Kevin Feige for DC. That's the idea behind it. So we didn't really know what that meant, and then James Gunn has come out this week with a ton of information regarding the upcoming releases for 2025, and also talking a little bit about 2024 as well, and what happens before that. So very little. So what we thought we'd do. Well, Zane, do you want to tell us what we thought we'd do?
Yeah, sure. So I thought it'd be cool if we watch the video and we'll just give our thoughts and reactions as we go through, and give you an idea of what's to come and what to expect.
Beautiful. All right. And yeah, we'll interrupt midway through, so expect madness. But yeah, take it away, Zany baby.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is...
I like that he says it's been disconnected for a long time, whilst they've clearly done one of the worst editing jobs on this video that I've ever seen in my life, and he's literally jumping all over the place. But we're not one to talk on Undisputed Nerds. Anyway, yeah, sorry. Carry on.
To come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU content.
So there's a lot to unpack in just those 40 seconds.
Yeah, so, well, I guess the first thing to talk about is the fact that it's no longer the DCEU. It is now just DCU. It's the DC universe. There's no more extended universe. There's no more all this guff. It's literally just this is what it is. And then, well, I guess as far as like the I do understand what he's saying as far as the consistency across actors and that side of things is concerned. So what are your thoughts on that, bearing in mind we know that Cavill's not coming back as Superman now?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of one of those things. For years, people have always wanted to see Stephen Amell as Green Arrow, but on the big screen, or Grant Gustin as Flash, but on the big screen. Now there's going to be consistency all the way through. And I guess what's kind of cool about this as well is the voice acting side of things, just because similar to Invincible, they hired the right actors for the roles in case they ever did live action. They've got the right actors already. I can imagine it being expensive because you're paying for like big names to do voice work, to opposed to, you know, well, I say that, but Mark Hamill was a big actor before. So yeah, I kind of like the idea of there being a consistency through and through.
I will say Mark Hamill was a big actor to a point, but he
Mm,
you know, he'd obviously done Star Wars, but then other than The Flash, where he was the trickster, I'm not,
yeah,
and you know, it's like he'd been doing like, you know, very much like C-list movies, like you know, what
yeah.
was it, Wing Commander 4 or whatever it was, or you know what I mean, like he'd been doing not great stuff. So like when he was hired as Joker, I'm sure he was on the backbench. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Um,
Mm,
yeah, so for those of you who are not understanding what he's saying here, James Gunn, basically what they're planning on doing is they are going to have a consistent DCU in the same way that we have an MCU, where
mhm.
it will be a straightforward story, you know, and characters that are in a linear, let's call it a sacred timeline, shall we? One sacred timeline that runs through the entire DC universe. However, for those of you who are familiar with the MCU, there will then also be what if tales, which are known as Elseworlds. So basically, anything that is already existing, such as you know, Matt Reeves the Batman, like he just said, and
Mhm.
Joker, and all this other kind of jazz, it's going to be an Elseworlds tale. So it's interesting. Teen Titans Go was in there as well. I was like, I love that he threw in a cartoon with it as well. It's just like, yeah, that's the stuff. Gun.
You know, this is the presentation he had to give to the higher ups at WB.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like
What about Teen Titans Go? They make us a boatload of money because of
I think
action figures.
I think he might have actually added in some bigger words for this presentation instead of talking to the execs. It's like, well, you don't make no green without having Elseworlds, huh? Huh?
But
Yeah.
saying that, great, you know, bringing back the Elseworlds title. It's been gone for numerous years in the comic book world. Like it got replaced with Black Label more recently.
I, the thing about this is right is that it's just you and I have been saying like not just you and I, but like the
Mm,
whole what it feels like the whole nerd universe. You
yeah.
know, not us. I'm just saying in general, everyone. Like they've all been
Mm,
saying it's very easy. Like it's a very simple solution to do. You literally just have to label things as different dimensions and then
mhm,
have a coherent DC universe that you tell us like a linear story in that leads to something like Darkseid or Brainiac. It's very
mhm.
easy. And lo and behold, James Gunn's come in and gone, this is quite easy. Just call all that Elseworld and we'll focus on this story, yeah?
Now pay me.
Exactly. Pay me the big bucks.
I've done it.
Aquaman.
I've saved the studio. I've done it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So yes. Anyway, yeah, we can carry on, mate. Sorry. It's
Let's go.
Continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that
steady.
are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you
Okay.
about now.
Stop it
So,
there.
Peter.
Stop it there. Stop it there. Stop it there. Stop it there, Zane. All right, let's talk about that right now.
Mhm.
So Shazam.
Yep.
The thing that's confusing slightly about this, but also isn't confusing, I guess, I don't know, is the fact that all of the slate that's been announced for the next like 2 years, as far as movies is concerned, it's
Mhm.
still happening. So
Yeah.
like Shazam is, you know, Shazam 2 is still happening and is going to be part of this new DCU
Yeah.
right up until The Flash, which is going to reboot everything apparently.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of sad about that because I wonder if it means that Zachary Levi will, you know, still
Yeah.
be Shazam in the new world. My first question to you regarding this is: do you think that they have decided? I mean, I think Shazam was always scheduled before the Flash, but do you
Mhm.
think that they have done that as a way to reboot and recast Black Adam?
I think it's more of a money thing. Like these movies have been shot, they've been edited. They've had CGI work. They need to reek. Am I right? Anyway,
Reap.
they need to
Reap the rewards.
reap the rewards, and they need to turn over a profit, to make their value back.
Even Blue Beetle. I didn't think Blue Beetle had been shot and filmed, or am I wrong about
Yeah,
that? Oh, is
yeah,
it?
it's been, yeah.
Oh.
There's
When's
leaks.
Batgirl coming out, Zane?
So funny enough, that came up in the press conference. Someone asked Peter Safran about Batgirl, and he said it wasn't ready. It wasn't worth it.
Escort this person out, please. Yeah, that's interesting. So I mean, well, I guess so. That's the first thing from this is obviously that Shazam and Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
I still consider part of the original DCEU. So the
100%.
fact that they are in this lineup, we'll get to Aquaman in a second because that has the potential to be very weirdly interesting. So Shazam's going to be first. We're going to get Shazam: Fury of the Gods. I'm sure it'll be fun. I really enjoyed the first Shazam. I thought it was great.
Me too.
I'm excited to see the second one. But then after that, that's where everything changes. So we've heard so much rumor and innuendo about what is going on with the Flash and what is happening with it. From the sounds of things, and now it seems to almost be completely 100% confirmed. They are doing Flashpoint. So Flashpoint is a comic event that happened back in like the 2010s. And it was basically Barry Allen wanted to try and prevent his mother from dying. So he went back in time and stopped it. But in doing so, he changed the entire DC universe forever. So Thomas Wayne was now Batman instead of Bruce Wayne died instead of his parents. And Thomas Wayne became a murderous, vengeful Batman, and his mum became the Joker, weirdly. Basically, the whole end of the book results in the Atlanteans and the Themyscirans going to war and destroying the entire planet. And then Barry has to rewrite his wrongs, but he doesn't rewrite his wrongs correctly because Barry Allen sucks at time travel. And so he ended up creating the New 52. I don't have any good New 52 stories then. I hate them all.
But
no, Flash Rebirth is in New 52. That is very good. As is the Aquaman Rebirth one. Those are both very good by Jeff Johns. He who should not be named anymore. Batman Incorporated is part of New 52, right?
No. That's another Grant Morrison.
Just talk.
You're
just
right
talk,
at the cusp. You're right at the end of
Zane. Zane, just talk. Oh, I know what's New 52. Scott Snyder's run on Batman is New 52.
Bingo. There you
go. That
is
great.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That is great. Yes. I'm in pre 52 mode.
Aren't we all? What were we saying before that?
We were saying that Flashpoint. So with the Flash is going to be Flashpoint. So there's going to be some amazing stories to come out of that.
Absolutely. I don't know if you've realized this. They've dropped the Flashpoint title off the movie now, so it's just called The Flash.
I didn't know that. No, I didn't know that. Wow,
that's really weird.
That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense. They needed that lightning rod to reset the DC universe because it like you said, it is a mess. It's all disjointed. And it is. I'm sorry. It really is. It's not good. As much as you love Batfleck, it's not good. But yeah, so I mean, we still don't have any confirmation as to whether or not. Please God, let's not have Ezra Miller as the Flash post this movie. He's got to be done. I can't imagine he'll come back. But hey, stranger things have happened, I guess. They seem to be on a redemption arc at the moment, Ezra Miller. So who knows? Then we go from that into Blue Beetle, which I guess will be the kickoff of the new DC. It's not the Blue Beetle I like, unfortunately. It's the Ted Kord Blue Beetle. It's not the Ted Kord Blue Beetle, which is the one I like. It's the Robbie Reyes or whatever his name is. No, that's Ghost Rider.
You're close though.
It's been a hard week, guys. I'm sorry.
Ronnie Ramirez? I don't know.
Ronnie Ramirez?
Maybe that sounds about right.
I don't know. Jamie Reyes. That's Blue Beetle. Yeah, I don't have much to say. The reason why I don't like modern Blue Beetle is it's an exosuit, isn't it, that he wears?
It
Like,
is. Yeah.
it's too Xenoblade Chronicles for me, man. Like I can't deal with it. Like no man, no way. It's like, what, you trying to make Blue Beetle Iron Man? No, don't like it.
It's very cool. I like it.
Of course you do. You
Scarab.
like everything. You like
Yeah,
everything. I find it hard to find things that you don't like.
I'll let you know. Don't worry. But yeah,
It's
it's
gonna be me, isn't it?
It's gonna
You're
be
the thing I don't
Tepco's.
like. You're the thing I don't like, Gent.
Should we run this?
Yeah, no, we're not done talking about, because we've got to talk
Okay.
about Aquaman. Aquaman's the most interesting part of all of this, because
Oh, yeah.
Aquaman is taking place after Flashpoint,
And it had
So-
Ben Affleck reshoots.
and it had Ben Affleck reshoots, and there's been lots of rumors that Jason Momoa is not going to be Aquaman anymore. He's going to be Lobo.
Mhm.
So, what the hell is going on there, mate? Like, is this mean that Momoa is going to continue on as Aquaman in the new DCU? Does this mean that Aquaman is not associated? Like, how is this going to work? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen the rumors, but apparently they had an idea to do a trilogy of Aquaman movies. So it's kind of
really?
Yeah, apparently. So it's kind of like, what happens to that third movie? Like, I imagine it's been written at this point if they've already settled on the idea to do a trilogy.
Yeah.
And if so, like, how much was filmed already? Like,
Yeah, I didn't even realize they were planning on that. That's crazy.
again, these are all rumors, so take them with a pinch of salt. But
Yeah, I just don't. If they want consistency and the same actors, does that mean that Jason? Because obviously, I know that James Gunn loves Lobo, and he wanted Jason Momoa to be Lobo. So I, God, imagine if they did the ultimate swerve and Aquaman 2 is not actually starring Jason Momoa anymore. How wild would that be? That would be crazy.
Super wild. But then again, like, I imagine if he could just voice Lobo, right? Like, and he's just a
Possibly.
big CG character.
You know who I thought, hey, he's not though. It's not really. But like, do you know who I
I
thought
know.
would be an all right Lobo the other day? Actually, when I was watching, Batista.
Yeah.
He's a bit
Batista's pretty
older,
decent.
but he'd be really good, I think. And he's
Mm.
already Gun affiliated, so
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if we. Basically, I said this the other day to a friend of ours, Rinsler, who's been on the podcast before. I basically said, expect the current iteration of Guardians to turn up in actors. Sorry, expect the current actors and Guardians to turn up in the DCU very soon.
Yeah.
With James Gunn being friends with them, I don't see any other way. Like, Batista's done. He's already said he's not doing Drax ever again after this next one. That's it. So he's gonna die in it. I wouldn't be surprised if Bradley Cooper pops up in DC. Zoe Saldana is going to pop up. I'm sure of it. Chris Pratt is a questionable. I don't know one way or another really with Chris Pratt, but it's it's just Aquaman 2 is going to be very interesting to see where they go with that. Bearing in mind it's Flashpoint and it's supposed to reset everything.
Absolutely.
All right, you can carry on then. It's your time to shine, talking about all the properties that I don't know anything about.
And I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is...
I know nothing about Creature Commandos, but as you said, it makes sense that they're having the consistency between voice and face. They're trying to do some of that in Marvel, aren't they?
Yeah. It's especially with that What If series. Creatures Commando. It's not a hugely popular comic, even in the community itself.
So unpopular, you said it wrong.
Did I really?
You said Creatures Commando.
What was the title?
Creature
Commando
Commandos. You put the S in the wrong place. That's what they're saying,
what
innit?
I mean. It's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
sure.
Yeah, but it's one of the sort of DC has a collection of like war-based comics, like your Sergeant Rocks, who's like a very, again, character that pops up every now and again. So it's kind of in that sort of area of the DC pantheon. So yeah, it is like really old, real old callback essentially. And again, it's not. I'm more surprised this isn't like Doom Patrol or something of that line, but I guess because that's been used so much to TV.
It exists, yeah.
Yeah, this is the next best thing. But at the same time, I guess this is they could use this to become like the new Umbrella Academy. Like this could be DC's Umbrella Academy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like odd
Yeah.
characters in an odd time and such.
If it wasn't animated, I would agree with that. But I think, as it's like a quirky animated series, you know, we'll see what it turns out like. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's it's one of his pet projects, isn't it? So Gunn does this. He has his pet projects. I know that he'll talk about it later, but I know the Authority is a huge like personal project for him. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, cool. I did notice that oh god, one of the members we've seen already in the DCU. Weasel, thank you. That was it. Yeah, Weasel's already been in Suicide Squad. So yeah, obviously. And you see, that's the thing. I don't know if Suicide Squad's canon in the new DCU. Like, is the Suicide Squad? Is it canon?
It is. I was going to address it a little
because of Waller probably coming up. Anyway, yeah. Okay, let's run through. Let's keep going.
Oh,
Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Wow, that is holy crap! Is that some writing chops there? My God Almighty! The guy who did the Watchmen is probably the finest TV adaptation that DC have done. It was amazing. Like it was amazingly good. And then the guy who made Doom Patrol, great, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, Amanda Waller is one of those characters who doesn't get enough respect in the TV and film versions of the DC universe. Like she is, she's only human. But she is literally she's like Nick Fury if Nick Fury was evil.
Yeah, definitely.
That is pretty much it.
Yeah. But as you probably, because again, there's been a lot of chatter online about, but what about Peacemaker season 2? I think this is going to be the, Peacemaker 1.5 into season 2, as he mentioned, because the same team will no doubt be around.
Yeah, I guess Flashpoint doesn't necessarily mean that everything is wiped out. It will mean that there will just be huge changes. So certain things will be very different, but other things might be exactly the same. So yeah.
Also, what I love about this so far, he mentions the comic book series. He mentions the writers behind it, which is amazing because Marvel has a tendency of just copying the comic book. For example, Civil War, they'll just take the Civil War name and they won't give any sort of credence of where the comic or anything. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind
of Winter Soldier. Yeah. That famous thing with Ed Brubaker where they had a big barmy over it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely.
Anyway. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that. That's a TV show, right? It's not a film.
Yeah, that'd be a TV show. I think that'd be works really well there.
Yep.
Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a
Right. That gets me so weirdly excited. I can't begin to. I didn't know he was writing it. I haven't looked. I basically before the podcast started, guys. I specifically said I said to Zane, I know the names of everything that's happening, and I know it's coming out in 2025. That's it. I didn't look at any other details deliberately so that I could get surprised kind of with him, even though Zane knows everything. But like, man, I can't wait for a proper Superman film again. Like, I cannot wait. It's gonna be great. I
I
don't even
know.
know who Superman's gonna be. I hope it's the guy from Hollywood I was talking about, who I can never remember the name of. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Superman, dude?
It's exciting. I know from the screenshots, well, from the pictures he used, and I don't know if you've seen on his Twitter and his social media, he's been reading a lot of Superman, All-Star Superman,
Oh, right,
which is a
okay.
Grant Morrison comic book. Now, the title Legacy is interesting because we know this is going to be a young Superman, but I don't think it's going to be a straight page for page from Superman All Star, because at the end, spoilers for All Star, it's the final days of Superman, basically.
Yeah, it's not going to be that. Yeah, I think just in terms of kind of legacy, I mean, the guy I was thinking of, by the way, who I want to be Superman, it probably won't happen, but it's a guy called David Corin Sweat, who is unknown enough. I think he would be really good. As what I think of when I think of Superman Legacy is everyone immediately thinks of like, oh, the past, and they'll be addressing previous iterations and yada yada yada. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think it'll be the legacy of his name, of the Kryptonian gene, of the Kryptonian
Yeah.
legacy that comes with him being the last survivor of Krypton. That's what I think it'll all be about, and it will literally be him discovering himself and this legacy. We don't need another complete origin story, but we do need to establish a certain there need, like, part of the DC is that Kryptonian flavor of things, because of the nature of how Superman is. How does the Fortress of Solitude look? Does it look like a white ice palace that you can sling Zod around in, or does it look like does it look like in the TV shows where he's got this weird menagerie of like beasts that he's like kept in a safe haven over the years? What does it look like? So I think there is a lot to unpack with that, and it's, if he's writing it, there will be a certain level of zaniness about it, which is why also if he's writing it, I'm looking forward to what villain that's going to be. That's going to be it's going to be someone off the wall. Here's hoping it's Metallo. I really want it to be Metallo. That would be amazing.
See, I'm kind of going down the path, like, if it's Legacy, again, a lot of online chatter thinking that maybe it's referring to Jonathan Kent, his son, but I think it's too early for that. Because I think the whole idea is that this is Superman Year 2. So I kind of I'm getting, my sort of mind is going down the path of, what if it's a Brainiac and it's Lost City of Kandor?
Yeah, that's another a very large possibility. But I would say the only thing I will say is don't forget what else is coming.
Yeah,
which we'll get to in a second. But that's the only thing that makes me lead away from like, oh, it's just purely Kryptonian like stuff, in terms of kind of Kandor and that kind of stuff, because the part of his early stories was the idea that he was the last of his kind. So if he is supposed to be the last of his kind, and then suddenly you're flinging around Kryptonians everywhere again, it's it defeats the purpose. Zod always seems to be like the main baddie, and he's it's basically a darkened version of Superman. Like, he's the evil version of him. So like, I would like to see something. I just want to see something different. Like, I want to see something. Superman has a lot of good villains. Like, I think Metallo is probably the best grounded Earth-based villain that they could do. Aside from Lex, I'm sure Lex Luthor will be in it, but he's never, you can't, physically wise, you can't have that situation. But like, a lot of Superman's enemies tend to be mirror versions of him. Like I said,
Yes.
Zod or Bizarro, Cyborg
Ultraman.
Cyborg
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah.
So it would be nice that like Metallo is literally like a robot. Like he's a guy who's like basically converted himself into a robot, and
Mhm.
his heart is powered by kryptonite, and that's why he can go toe to toe with Superman. Or Parasite as well as another good. Parasite would be another good villain as well,
Yeah.
where he just leeches off the power. That would be good. But so many possibilities, so many things he could do.
Absolutely. I feel like I was going to say something, but I can't remember now.
It might come back to you.
I think the whole idea of themes as well. Something that he mentions quite a few times in this is the idea that everything has a theme going through, instead of just kind of like wild cameos. So instead of having like a wild, I mean, I'm sure it'll happen, but a wild cameo of Supergirl at the end, and everyone being like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then I guess I'll have to watch Supergirl to find out who this character is. Like,
It's almost like the code of have an independent story with an overarching narrative that links into other things that Marvel did 10 years ago actually works, and maybe DC should do it as well. What a surprise.
I don't know. Marvel's been hit and miss with that sort of thing. A lot of the time, it's just kind of like, here's a cameo or an Easter egg, which will lead into the next movie, instead of like,
You cannot say that the Infinity War plot, or sorry, not Infinity War, the Infinity Gauntlet plot was not brilliant and well played out.
it could have been better.
Whatever, move on.
I mean,
play
Thor
the
Dark
next bit.
World.
Play the next bit.
Big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective, with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story.
Did you notice something about that picture that they used?
Earth One?
Yeah, he wasn't. John Stewart wasn't traditional Green Lantern.
Yeah. It's odd that they've chosen Earth One versions from the Jeff Johns. I think it's Jeff Johns' run.
Yeah, that's weird. Okay, because Hal Jordan looked but the symbol wasn't a Green Lantern symbol on John Stewart's chest. That's why I was like, that's weird. I obviously haven't read enough of Earth One stuff, but there you go.
You're a big Green Lantern guy. Like, how did this make you feel?
Nervous. I don't know. Did he say that he was? Did he say that he was writing this one as well, or is he not involved in this one? James Gunn.
I don't think he's writing this one now.
There's a lot that can go wrong with Green Lantern, like a lot. And if he'd have been writing it, I would have been excited because it's exactly the kind of wacky cosmic that he's good with. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the fact that it's only focusing on John Stewart and Hal Jordan and not the rest of them. So hopefully, I'd like to see some kind of that camaraderie of the idea that they're a police force. Like the idea that they have like a break room and stuff like that, and they interact with other non-Earth lanterns and shit. Well, they do have that in the comics. Like it's in that is a thing that they have. Like Kilowog famously hazes new recruits and stuff like that. So like it is a thing. The difficulty with Green Lantern is the same difficulty that they always have with Green Lantern, which is how do you make something threatening to a person who has the greatest weapon in the universe? Because the lantern race can literally construct anything.
I think they're going to nerf it.
I hope not. That would be a shame if they did.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like the animated series where it's a series of like shields and bubbles, not necessarily like huge constructs. Because if it's like TV and they've got the idea of True Detective, things like a giant baseball mitt's going to kind of break.
Yeah. You're right. They're not gonna. They won't lean into all the wackiness of it. But yeah, I mean, that is part of what I love about Green Lanterns, though. And I will say, I will readily admit that Green Lantern comics for a very long time sucked. I mean, his weakness was the color yellow. Like, it's ridiculous, But then they explain why, in post Jeff Johns Rebirth, they explain why the color yellow was his weakness, and they explained it away very well. And and then post that, you get the Sinestro Corps, which is the evil Green Lanterns, basically. They're Yellow Lanterns, and then the War of Light. And if they are going to do a series where they explore Sinestro's turn and his eventual creation of his Corps, leading into like follow-up series of different colors and leading to the Blackest Night, then great. But if it's just a kind of buddy cop movie, I guess it'll be fine. And I don't really have it. I'm not excited about it really. But especially not after the Ryan Reynolds stuff. It's it tepid everything. So bated breath with that one.
I'm really excited about this. I kind of like the idea of a True Detective, or say something like Luther in space or on Earth, like these cops looking into these like alien attacks sort of thing. I guess in a weird way, now that I said it out loud, it sounds like Men in Black.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Let's hope it's more Men in Black 1 and not Men in Black International. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Who's Chris Hemsworth? I don't know.
The DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU, and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series.
Wait, keep it going.
Oh.
It's called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost.
That was the end of that.
Story of
Sorry, I thought he was going to talk about sorry, my bad. The Authority.
Yeah.
The hell is the Authority, Zane? Evil Justice League.
Of sorts. So the Authority, how do I say this? So the easiest way to describe them, well, thank you. The easiest way to kind of describe them is they are like an evil Justice League, but they believe the world is broken, and to solve the issues, they need to become dictators.
Right.
So when he says that they, do it by any means necessary,
he means
that's
any means necessary.
Yeah. I think this is it's quite an odd choice. And I feel like the reason he's chose this or picked this, shall I say, is because of the way people see the Justice League in its current state. A lot of people think, it's too nicey, it's too kind. They're here to save us, blah, 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 where people want the sort of gritty and, no one likes nice anymore, is what I'm trying to get at. But this kind of solves that problem.
I would partly agree with that to a point. I don't think it's that people don't like nice anymore. I think it's just that I don't want to get too deep into this, but like I was thinking about this the other day.
Mm-hmm.
The way society has become so unbelievably jaded with the world and the way that the world exists, when we as a species are not very hopeful anymore. We don't, certainly in this country at least, we wake up every day and it's like, oh my God, what next? Like, what is what part of the government is going to be horrible next? Like, are they going to ruin healthcare? Are they going to ruin, nurses
Pancake
or
day?
teachers? Pancake day, exactly. So I think that a lot of people think that, like, well, I don't really want stories that aren't going to reflect my reality, and I want to suspend my disbelief to a point, but there's always the thing where it's just like, well, that wouldn't happen. And I think we're dying to have that hope. You look at modern politics and stuff like that. It's like Obama was elected on a pedestal of hope. That was like literally his campaign slogan. Like, one of the posters was literally just hope. And like, people are dying to have that. That's part of the reason why Joe Biden got in the States. It was on hope. And I'm not going too political on this, because it's going to be the same thing over here. Is that we're just tired of the current situation, and like with stories reflect the times,
Sure.
and we're in a very dark time at the moment. But I think you can only go so far before you hit rock bottom, and I think we're starting to see a turnaround where people are becoming a bit more hopeful about the future, and hopefully we can get stuff sorted. And there is so much stuff out there in the media about things that are going wrong, and I personally I just want to see a really hopeful story. That's why I'm excited about Superman. I want I want a story of somebody who you can believe in. It's that's what we're all waiting for in real life. We want someone to believe in again. Because it's who's actually honest. Because the world's not the best place at the moment. Anyway, there's my Debbie Downer for the week. Sorry, guys. Yeah, The Authority looks good.
Yeah, but I think this is for those people who love The Boys, for example. Like, this is going to be everything there for the Snyder Bros. Like, it's The Authority are heavily violent. Midnighter is kind of like a cross between a Punisher meets Batman. Apollo is the analog of Superman. So there's a lot of things there. But one thing that's really interesting, and I kind of posted this on our TikTok, is Midnighter and Apollo are in a relationship. So it'd be interesting to see how that will be portrayed, or if it will get portrayed as well, because very much like Marvel, they kind of tiptoed around it quite a lot when it came to certain edits of the film and things of that nature with certain characters.
Yeah, I yes, I wonder how exactly they're going to present that within the universe. Whether or not it will be I don't know how it will be. Whether they'll present it as like a kind of like just a thing of acceptance, or like
if it would be a comment, or if it would be an on-screen kiss, or just
yeah.
hand holding. It's going to be interesting to see which direction they
think,
go.
is that the first openly gay couple, or is that
Ooh, what, on film or TV?
on film?
Or...
Yeah, sorry, on film. Not in. Obviously, it's in comic books already, but like on.
I think the only other one was from Eternals with Pathos, the inventor.
Oh yes. Yeah. Marvel got there first. They always do, don't they?
Only just.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about the excellent film The Eternals, by the way.
Your favorite.
Move along.
Let's go.
It's called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's
Meh.
Yeah.
Don't care about that. Couldn't give any less of a monkey's about that. Unless it's like an origin story for Wonder Woman, I guess, maybe. But like, meh, don't care. You?
Yeah. I like the sound of it. Just kind of like again, a power struggle. I kind of like the idea of maybe they have like some sort of Greek themed games, or just trying to.
Do you know what my Game of Thrones series solution is at the moment?
Oh, go ahead.
House of Dragons. Anyway, moving on. Let's go.
Batman is the brave and the bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant
Oh, wow.
Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line. And so this is the story of the two of them and
I
the
wonder what
beginning of
words
sort
he
of
was
the
going to use
Bat
then.
family in the DCU. Next.
That is interesting to me. I'll tell you why that is
Mm.
interesting to me, because that then rewinds my thought that I was just talking about with that previous show where I said I didn't care. Because what it
Yeah.
sounds like he's done is it's Superman Legacy, then Wonder Woman's going to be in that Paradise Lost or whatever it's called, and that will probably be Wonder Woman's origin, and then Batman Brave and the Bold is going to be obviously Batman's origin in this universe. Because one of the big things that they were talking about was the Trinity and refocusing things on the Trinity, which is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. I think this is another. I am. That's cool. I'm glad
Yeah.
they're doing that, and I understand bringing Damian Wayne in. Good. He should be on screen. He's a fantastic character. This is one of the reasons why I've said to you multiple times, though, about the Dick Grayson run on Batman, was that Damian only became truly a good character after that run.
Yeah.
Because he was almost about to say it, but Damien is a little shh in the assassin, exactly. Shh assassin. And the thing about when Bruce died, Dick became like the father figure for Damien, and it changed the dynamic between Batman and Robin, because in the comic books, Batman Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson Robin, Batman was always this stern, stoic figure who was like this imposing figure, and Robin was the, for lack of a better word, light entertainment, happy-go-lucky, hey, Jiminy Jillikers, let's do this. And then the dynamic flipped, because then you had Dick Grayson, who wasn't so much of a brooding Dark Knight. He was, he's still Batman. He's not the detective that Bruce Wayne was necessarily, but he has everything else that Batman had. But he was more of a light-hearted Batman. He was more of an open Batman. And then you had a Robin who was stoic and brooding and a little of a Robin.
An assassin.
Yeah, an assassin. And it was this great dynamic. So, and then when Bruce Wayne comes back to life, then eventually Damian does become the Robin to Bruce Wayne's Batman. But I don't know if I like the idea that it's going to be Bruce Wayne and Damian on screen together for the first time, like that first iteration. I don't know if I like that or not, but I mean, I'm sure I'll end up loving it because it's Batman and I love Batman. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it feels like they're moving that slider up in terms of his Batman who's already got a kid, his is Robin. James Gunn mentions the Bat family, but I'm really hoping that this means that we do get to see more of the Bat family. As you mentioned, Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, Batwoman, Huntress, just to name a few. That would be really cool. The other thing I wanted to mention, the Grant Morrison run is really campy as well, isn't it? Which I think, again, kind of plays to James Gunn's strengths. It's really kind of lighthearted and colorful and everything else, right?
Okay, so define campy.
Well, I mean, in the sense of there's dark elements, there's a dark undertone to it. But when you look at his version of Jason Todd Red Hood, he has the dome red hood with a cape and a white outfit with the guns. And then you've got Mr. Pig and the Toad.
Professor Pig.
Yeah.
Get it right. So Grant Morrison's run is I would not call it campy. When I think of campy, I think of the 1960s, like bat dance and running down the street with a bomb kind of thing. I would describe his version as incredibly flamboyant with incredible undertones of menace. Like it is. I get what you're saying. Like it's really bright and colorful, and it looks like wild, and it's got all these crazy designs and stuff like that. But that's just Grant Morrison's mind. But the undertones and the stuff that is bubbling under the. I mean, God, like Professor Pig is a great example of that. He
Yeah.
is horrific. Laszlo Valentin is a horrible, horrible person, who surgically alters people to try and make them into his perfect dolls. And ends up removing all of their humanity and making them these like blank slates of Dolatrons. It's horrific. It's really horrific, and done in the Batman Reborn, it's really horrible. There's loads of characters that he created. Like Flamingo is another one where it's like you
Yeah.
hear it and it's like it's ridiculous, but no, genuinely really sinister, and really horrible. You know, I can't. I cannot praise Grant Morrison's run on Batman Reborn enough. Like it was astonishing. Like having Saxon as well be the Joker, which was it was just so well done. Like it was just so well done. But yeah, anyway, I love it. I'm glad he is doing Brave and the Bold around like a Grant Morrison run. It seems so that's good, and I guess we'll just see what comes.
Also, polar opposite to what Matt Reeves is doing with his Batman,
which is a good thing.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. On to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comics.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going? Oh, yeah.
We can do. I mean, Booster Gold. There's not much to say about Booster Gold that we haven't said already. He's like Kang, except instead of coming back from time to rule the world, he came back in time to be a superhero. Yeah, I mean, he's a good character. Again, I don't like the idea of having Booster Gold without Ted Kord's Blue Beetle, but it is what it is. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way. So she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing.
Geez, that was quick. Way to just throw away that line. Supergirl. It'll be interesting. Again, this is I don't know enough about the comics of Supergirl. I haven't read enough Supergirl comics to know. I know that there's Power Girl as well, who's an alternate version of Supergirl from Earth 2 or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, cool. I don't know what else to say about it, Zane, honestly.
No worries, because I happen to have a copy.
Oh, look at you.
I do.
You big nerd. Talk about it
then. This book is fantastic. As he mentioned before, written by Tom King, which was a series, a mini series. I want to say of like 12 issues that was now collected as a trade. Fantastic story. As he mentions, Kara goes on this journey to kind of understand heroism, what it's to be, selfless and everything else. I think this is a great story, and a story that's fairly recent as well. It only came out last year. So nice. A really great story to kind of adapt to understand the character and the motive. It's something that Tom King's amazing at. He does like these mini series of, here's the character, I'm going to take him on this journey. By the end of it, you understand the character, and the character has learned about themselves and all that jazz. So yeah.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I look forward to seeing it. They've wanted DC have wanted to do something with Supergirl for a long time. So the exec, I mean, so it makes sense that they're doing this. But I don't know whether they've said, is this the release order that they're doing it in as well, or is it not confirmed?
Yeah, this looks like the release order.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Cool. All right. Move along. Swamp Thing.
Last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC.
Oh yeah.
No, I was going to let it play on, but
yeah.
I mean, Swamp Thing. I just like. I'm surprised that he was. I'm surprised they announced him. I genuinely am. I guess it feeds into the Gods and Monsters chapter that they're talking about. Interestingly, a lot of Gods and Monsters references were in the Snyder Batman v Superman as well, originally. So it is interesting that they've done it this way. Swamp Thing's a great character. I don't know how tonally he's going to fit in with everything else. But as he said, it sounds like he's going to be a horror story. So yeah, that's. I know Gunn loves his horror, doesn't he? So
that's where he started, really. I guess what will be interesting is, will they try and adapt the Alan Moore version, which is like so well received and beloved by the whole comic book industry.
Yeah, I can't imagine why they wouldn't. But it could be another thing that he can get annoyed about. Miserable old like druid in his home getting angry that they've stolen his stories. Oh, it's just another thing that they've taken off of me and ruined. Yes, I find it very irritating. Do you, Alan? Do you? Why don't you tell us some more about how irritating it is? I'm not going to have my name associated with this, but I am going to do a string of television interviews and tell you how annoyed I am because I need the money.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Moore.
I just want to say I have nothing but respect for Alan Moore, and he is incredible. And I do agree with him on a number of points. Like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen should never have been converted into film, and it was designed not to be. I agree with him, although in today's modern CGI, who knows? However, I do think he still is a grumbly old fart sometimes when he talks about this stuff. So if you're listening to this ever, Alan, very, very unlikely, but you are an incredible creator. You're an inspiration to millions. You have written some of the most amazing things that I have ever read, and I thank you for it. But stop being so moany. And that's coming from me.
I have nothing to add. Nothing to add at all.
What does he say at the end? What does Gunn say at the end?
Let's have a listen.
Characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure.
Every time I see James Gunn on screen, I just think that, and he'll never listen to this, so I'm going to say it, but you and I both know him. That is like that's the American version of drag. The American, much more successful version of drag, because he talks exactly like drag does, like just personality, just enthusiasm, just like it's exactly the same. I was like, man, drag, you should have done more with your life.
He's not a silver fox, though. He's not a silver fox.
No, he's more like a smooth head, like Stone Cold.
Are you excited after all those announcements?
Yeah. I'm more excited about the DCU than I have been for a very, very long time with James. I've been excited since James Gunn was announced as the head of creative for it. Like that, when they said that James Gunn was going to be the Kevin Feige, basically, I was like, I'm all in. Like, this is great. This is fantastic. It's exactly what it needed. And I hope it turns out the way we all hope it does. You know, we just have to find out and see. But yeah, I'm assuming you're excited because you get excited about everything.
Yeah, that last part he mentions, that they are focusing on the story first and the narrative and everything. It's like, oh my God, thank thank you. Like, that's all I ever wanted. Because with a lot of these comic book movies, they'll start shooting with Act 1 and 2 in mind, and then they come up with Act 3 as they're shooting, which is, not to throw shade at anyone at the MCU, but, it's...
Oh, he's going for him. He's done the turn, guys. He's done the turn. This is what he's been waiting for. He's been waiting for the time when he could get back on his Batfleck pants and go, DC's the best. Oh, yes, sir. I will say, my friend, just be careful with that because, yes, Phase 4 was a complete and total mess. However, I really do think they are starting to crack back down again for Phase 5 and 6. So just be careful what you wish for. We're going to see what happens when Kang comes.
Will it be too little, too late? See what I did there? Too little, like Ant-Man?
You mean against...
Or late, like Kang?
Oh, I get it. Oh,
He's
I
on
just got
time.
that. Oh, I just got that. Nice. Jeez, let's wrap it up, Zane.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure to email us with any questions. nerds@undisputed. No, that's wrong. nerdsundisputed@gmail.com.
See, I normally close up the show and then throw it over to him, so that's why he's getting all confused. Guys, what do you think about the new DC lineup? Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Are you happy that James Gunn is running it? Do you think he's picked the right characters for this kind of thing? Or do you think he's way out of left field with what he's picked? Let us know. Let us know by getting in touch with us. How can they do that, Zane?
They can email us, nerdsundisputed@gmail.com. Of course, you can reach out on any of our socials at undisputed_nerds. And yeah, all the relevant links will be in the description down below.
I cannot wait to see how much you heavily edit this episode based on the stuff that we've said in it so far. Yes, guys, you can get me on Twitch, twitch.tv/gentlemanthegamer, currently running through Gotham Knights. Bright Lights, Gotham Knights. And you can also get me on the gram at Gentlemanly Gamer. Zane, I don't know what we're doing next week. We're having problems with topics right now. Things aren't coming out quick enough. Can people start releasing stuff faster? Like the week after next, we've got Ant-Man, so that's fine. But like, actually release stuff, guys. It's hard to come up with stuff. Jeez, what do you want us to be, inventive? I was thinking we should do a tier list of video game adaptations of comics and stuff. That'd be interesting. After the last 20 years or so. Not of all time. That would be ridiculous. We'll be ahead of Christmas.
Yeah, it would be grey and old. By then, Superman will come out by then.
I'm basically grey and old as it is anyway, so it's fine. Listen to his evil laugh at that. Look at it. Unbelievable. Right. I'm leaving, Zane. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and get a drink. I'm tired.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.
See you next week, guys. Bye.